Hey guys, welcome back. So today we'll be finding the reciprocal or the multiplicative inverse. For an example, let's say I have the number 6. The reciprocal of 6 is going to be 1 over 6. And all I did, we flipped our numerator and our denominator. If I multiply 6 times 1 over 6, this has to equal 1. So 6 times 1, this is going to equal 6. And then my denominator, under here, you have your imaginary 1. So in my denominator, you have 1 times 6, and this is also going to equal 6. So 6 divided by 6 equals 1. So we know, yes, the reciprocal of 6 is 1 over 6. So we know that is a correct answer. Remember, when you are finding your reciprocal and your number, if you multiply your reciprocal and the number together, it has to equal 1. Let's say we have 1 over 3. What is the reciprocal for 1 over 3? If I flip my numerator and denominator, your reciprocal is just going to be 3. So your answer is 3. Now, if you want to check your work to make sure, remember, if I multiply my number times my reciprocal, it has to equal 1. So 1 over 3 times 3, it has to equal 1. My numerator, we have 1 times 3. That's going to be 3. And then my denominator, you have 3 times your imaginary 1. That's also going to be 3. 3 divided by 3 is 1. So we know 3 is the reciprocal of 1 over 3. What about just the number 3? If you have the number 3, the reciprocal of 3 is going to be 1 over 3. And remember, if I multiply 3 times 1 over 3, my numerator, you're going to get 3. Your denominator, you're also going to get 3. So that means that 3 divided by 3 equals 1. So that means that 1 over 3 is the reciprocal of 3. So that's the correct answer. What about 2 over 3? Remember, we are flipping our numerator and denominator. So the reciprocal is going to be 3 over 2. So if I multiply 2 over 3 times 3 over 2, my numerator, you're going to get 6. And your denominator, 3 times 2, you're also going to get 6. So 6 divided by 6 is 1. So we know 3 over 2 is the correct answer. What about the number 5? The reciprocal for 5 is going to be 1 over 5 if we flip our numerator and denominator. All right, and remember, if you want to check 5 times 1 over 5, my numerator, 5 times 1, is going to be 5. And then your denominator, 1 times 5, this is also going to be 5. 5 divided by 5 equals 1. So 1 over 5 is the correct answer. What about negative 1 over 2? What is the reciprocal of negative 1 over 2? And if we flip, remember the reciprocal, we're flipping our numerator and denominator, is going to be negative 2 over 1. So your answer is going to be negative 2 over 1, or you can just say negative 2. Now, if we check our work, so if I do negative 1 over 2 times negative 2 over 1, your numerator, negative 1 times negative 2, is going to be a positive 2. And your denominator, 2 times 1, this is going to be 2. So 2 divided by 2 equals 1. So yes, we know negative 2 over 1 or negative 2 is the correct answer. What about 4 over 7? So the reciprocal of 4 over 7 is going to be 7 over 4. This is our answer here. And if I check 4 over 7 times 7 over 4, remember you're just multiplying across. 4 times 7 is 28 in my numerator. And then my denominator, 7 times 4, is also 28. So 28 divided by 28 is going to equal 1. So yes, we know that 7 over 4 is the correct answer. Remember, when you are multiplying to check your work, you multiply your number times the reciprocal. It has to equal 1. What about negative 4? What is the reciprocal of negative 4? The reciprocal of negative 4 is going to be 1 over negative 4. This is your answer here. And if we check our work, negative 4 times 1 over negative 4. So my numerator, remember here you have your imaginary 1 in your denominator. Okay, so my numerator, negative 4 times 1 is negative 4. My denominator, 1 times negative 4, is going to be negative 4. Negative 4 divided by negative 4 is going to equal a positive 1. So yes, we know 1 over negative 4 is the correct answer. What about 14 over 7? The reciprocal of 14 over 7 is going to be 7 over 14, right? We're flipping our numerator and denominator. And to check, let's make sure 14 over 7 times 7 over 14. 14 times 7 in my numerator is going to be 98. And then my denominator, 7 times 14, is also going to be 98. So 98 divided by 98 equals 1. So we know that 7 over 14 is the correct answer. So what if you have a mixed fraction, 2 and 2/3? Let's look at this example here. Anytime you have a mixed fraction, always change it to an improper fraction first, and then you find the reciprocal. So for an example, 2 and 2/3, I'm going to turn it into an improper fraction. I'm going to multiply 2 times 3, and I'm going to add 2 to get my improper fraction. So 2 times 3 is 6. 6 plus 2 is 8. So 8 is going to be my numerator, and my denominator is going to be 3. This is my improper fraction. Now, looking at my 8 over 3, now we're going to find the reciprocal of 8 over 3. The reciprocal of 8 over 3 is going to be 3 over 8. And this is your answer here. So to check our work, if you do 8 over 3 times 3 over 8, 8 times 3 in my numerator is going to be 24. And then my denominator, 3 times 8, this is also going to be 24. So 24 divided by 24 equals 1. So we know 3 over 8 is the correct answer. What about 1 and 3/4? So we have a mixed fraction. We're going to turn it into an improper fraction, and then we're going to find the reciprocal. So 1 times 4, we're going to multiply here and add 3. 1 times 4 is going to be 4. 4 plus 3 is going to be 7. So we have 7 over 4 as my improper fraction. All right, so we did 1 times 4, and then you're going to add 3. That's going to be your numerator. Now I have 7 over 4. What is the reciprocal of 7 over 4? And that's going to be 4 over 7. So this is going to be your correct answer here. And if we're going to check our work, my numerator, you're going to get 28. And then your denominator, 4 times 7, is also going to be 28. So 28 divided by 28 equals 1. So we know that 4 over 7 is the correct answer. What about 3 and 1/5? So we're going to turn it into an improper fraction first. So 3 times 5 is going to be here, and then we're going to add 1. We're going to add that 1 there for my numerator. 3 times 5 is 15. 15 plus 1 is going to be 16. So you have 16 over 5 here. Now we're going to find the reciprocal of 16 over 5. So the reciprocal is going to be 5 over 16 as our answer, and this is our answer here. If you check 16 over 5 times 5 over 16, remember it has to equal 1. So 16 times 5 is going to be 80. You have 80 in your numerator, and then 5 times 16 is also 80. So 80 divided by 80 is 1. So we know that 5 over 16 is the correct answer. Let's look at this question here. So let's say you had to find the reciprocal of the number 7. So is it going to be A, -7 as the reciprocal, or B, 1 over 7 as the reciprocal? And hopefully you chose the answer B. This is your correct answer here. Remember, we are flipping our numerator and denominators. So if I have a 7, the reciprocal of 7 is going to be 1 over 7. So if I multiply 7 times 1 over 7, in the numerator, you're going to get 7. In your denominator, you're also going to get 7. So 1 times 7, that's going to give you 7 in your denominator. 7 divided by 7 equals 1. So yes, your correct answer is 1 over 7. What about if you had x over y? What is the reciprocal of x over y? And the correct answer, hopefully you chose B as your answer again. And the reciprocal of x over y is going to equal y over x. Let's look at this example here. The reciprocal of 3 over 5, is it going to be A, 5 over 3, or B, -5 over 3? And hopefully you chose A as your answer. It's going to be 5 over 3. Remember, we are flipping our numerator and denominator. So if I multiply 3 over 5 times 5 over 3, Your numerator, you're going to get 15. Your denominator, you're also going to get 15. 5 times 3 and then 3 times 5. 15 divided by 15 is going to equal 1. So we know 5/3 is the correct answer. All right, so that is all for today, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye, guys.